I'm your host, Matt, aka Legion Rex, and welcome to another episode of The Gap. I'm your host. With me, I have my co-host, Shane, aka The Bearded One. How are you doing today, Shane?
Shit, I forgot to get water. Hold on, I'll be right back. You guys keep going. You guys go on.
Good job. With me, I also have my co-host, Spencer. How are you doing today, Spencer?
What an unprepared piece of shit. Podcast's supposed to start at 11. It's 11:09. And this man just forgot water.
Water. He had to go poke his fire.
Yeah, I'm actually intelligent, okay? I came prepared.
I came prepared. I have everything already laid out, ready to go.
Yeah, you're actually intelligent, Spencer?
I'm drinking a delicious Mexican Coke, okay? And I have my microphone in front of me.
I was actually lying. I had water. I just wanted to see how much you guys would insult me if I went to go get some.
Turns out quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
In fact, quite a bit. I am feeling very attacked right now.
Don't worry. Once you come over, I will show you my collection of jazz band music. I'm not joking. I don't know why I still have all of our jazz band stuff in front of me.
Why?
Okay.
I was playing it.
Okay. With that, we got a wonderful show planned for y'all today. We have a little bit of simulcast stuff because there's some new stuff that did premiere over the course of the past week. We have some news. Of course, we got our
Inside.
Yeah, I got a featured anime of the podcast, which is Fist of the North Star, which is one that was chosen by Shane himself. The Shonen man. The Shonen man. I tried to keep in that sneeze as I was talking. I tried.
That is commitment.
Yeah, I tried. I felt it coming, and I was like, I'm not letting it stop what I'm saying. It didn't work. But in any case, let's get in right to it with Simulcast Discussion. So, season's in full swing. Things have just started premiering on a lot of the shows. We're on their third week for our third episode, so everything is moving right on track. There's only pretty much two big shows that started, and only one of them all three of us watched. So we're gonna start with the one that we all watched, and then I'm gonna talk about the one that y'all didn't watch. Let's start with Taisou Zamurai.
What the fuck is this show?
Or the Gymnastic Samurai, as it's known in English. I'm just gonna call it Taisou.
Yeah, me
Samurai,
too. Yeah,
because it's easier and it's got less syllables,
and it sounds cooler.
Yeah.
So Taisou Zamurai comes courtesy of MAPPA. It's an original, and it's done by the Zombieland Saga people. And it feels like something that's from the Zombieland Saga people.
I was going to say, you can 100% tell right off the bat that this is the same team that did Zombieland, because I was getting major Zombieland flashbacks.
Yeah.
Everything from its art style to its humor to the way it's structured, it all feels very Zombieland-esque, and that's not a bad thing because Zombieland was really fucking good, and so is this.
Yeah, this is really good shit. One of my favorites of the season, definitely. It's really odd, though.
Extremely strange.
It's very weird.
My favorite thing about it is that I love shows that are weird and just don't question how weird it is.
Mm-hmm.
They're just it's at the start. It's like this. It said in 2002. It said in the world of Olympic gymnastics, and you have a character who is trying to qualify for the gymnastics, and he doesn't. And there's the emotional through line of him trying to reveal to his daughter that he has to retire, and it's a strong, and that's more than enough for a first episode. But they're just, and then something's off when you go to his house, and there's just a bird that talks.
What is that bird?
It is
I love it.
His official name, by the way, is Big Bird Aragaki.
Yes,
I love Big Bird Aragaki.
Or BB for short. They do call him BB. I love it.
Yes, okay.
And he just talks, and the gimmick in the episode is that they'll tell him to shut up,
and then he'll make a weird face and be like,
and be like that face the rest of the scene, and then that's all the bird does.
That's the joke. That's all the joke is.
Can I just say, when I first saw the bird, I immediately thought, oh, Spencer's gonna get a kick out of this one.
Oh, I love the bird.
Like immediately, I was like, this is your shit.
Because the bird is like my sense of humor, where it's just like he says something and then just responds with like a look directly at the camera, like a
like breaking the fourth wall every time he's on screen.
And he's just such a sassy little bird, or she. I don't know. I think it's a he.
Let's not assume the bird's gender.
I apologize. It could also be a they. But Matt is missing one major thing, and it's that our samurai is such a good father that he takes his daughter to a Sengoku period era kind of Japanese theme park. I think those are real. I think those actually exist.
They're real.
They're real?
And because she loves ninjas, which I'm assuming she's basically talking about whatever that universe's version of like Naruto
is. Yes. And so they're having a grand time, living through the Edo period. There's like kids being taught how to arrest people. And then all of a sudden they approach what can only be described as a SeaWorld-esque ninja extravaganza, where it's like a stage play, I guess is what it is. And all of a sudden, a ninja just backflips off a roof and then runs away after Agent Smith comes out and tries to take him away.
It's just men in black.
At that point, I was like, okay, show.
You know it's gonna be a weird one when it's a character-driven sports drama, and then they just throw a ninja in there. Like
they throw a ninja who's the best character in the show.
Absolutely.
So far, because at the end he turns out to be like a gymnastics prodigy. And I think I know the direction the show is going.
His name is Leo, and he is not supposed to be in Japan.
Yeah, he's on the run from the law because he's an illegal immigrant.
Am I when the agent showed up? I literally said to myself, I'm like, they literally have Agent Smith in this fucking show.
Yep.
And then 2 seconds later, his daughter literally says, "Agent Smith, Agent Smith."
Which someone brought up the fact that I'm like, well, the fact that this is 2002, so it makes complete sense as to why she's referencing the Matrix, because that's still in like the public consciousness at that point.
When did the
1999?
1999. Okay, yeah.
So it's literally just three, and the sequels are like being filmed at the time that this is happening. So, like, it's still, like, heavy in the public consciousness at the time of this show.
So it's subconsciously historically accurate, too.
Yeah. I really love this show, though. I love it. I don't know where it's going.
I have absolutely no idea.
And I'm very excited. If it's like Zombieland Saga, it's going to be something great.
It's going to be a trip. It's going to be.
But we also haven't mentioned the OP yet, because the OP is really good.
OP might be best of the year. I can't stop listening to it, Matt. I cannot stop.
I don't know about that.
It's up there for me too. It's really good.
Yes.
It reminds me a lot of the Zombieland Saga OP, which was also one of my best of the year.
Yeah.
And specifically, I love the energy in the OP. I love its direction, and the fact that it's a cover of an Orange Range song with the three lead actors singing it, and it's it's just so catchy and colorful, and and it's probably my favorite OP of the season, and a season that's very, very good for OPs so far. So like I don't know, but yeah, Taisou Samurai is really good.
But real question here: does it beat Easy Breezy?
Easy Breezy was never my favorite OP of the year, though. So
that is sacrilege.
It was never my favorite.
Easy Breezy is very, very good. However, I think this cover just has it has a fucking key change, dude. At the end of the song, there's a fucking key change.
There is, yeah, and
also both of them thematically fit. Easy Breezy fits with the idea of imagination and like the three girls kind of how they kind of see the world and all that. This works on a kind of bumping energy that is almost synonymous with gymnastics being a rhythmic dancing almost. And come on, dude, the bodies spell Taisou. Come on.
I did notice that.
The bodies do spell Taisou. Also, by the way, nothing's going to beat the Kaguya-sama OP this year anyway, so it doesn't matter. But yeah. So Taisou Samurai is Taisou Samurai fucking whips. I also watched another show this past week, and that was The Day I Became a God.
This thing.
Yeah, which is the new PA Works original. Specifically, it's the new Jun Maeda original, who is best known as the co-founder of Key, aka he's the guy behind Clannad, Canon, and Air, and Little Busters, and all of those stuff. And he's done a couple of anime originals, which he did Angel Beats and Charlotte, both of which I weren't a fan of, but I am a fan of him. I am a fan of Jun Maeda and his stuff. So maybe against my better judgment, I still try to give him the benefit of the doubt when it comes to his anime original stuff. And Day I Became a God had a first episode that was solid. It was a solid first episode, and it proves to me that honestly, I think he should just do a straight comedy at some point, because it's really funny. He's got when Shane watched Clannad, he could attest that the one thing that Jun Maeda does well is that his comedy is really strong.
Yeah.
And even in Angel Beats and Charlotte, he had a strong sense of comedy.
There is some genuinely funny moments in Angel Beats, especially in the first half. The whole scene with the whole episode of them trying to distract the student, trying to distract Angel during exams, and just having the character just skyrocket into the ceiling, and then replaying it with sad music. It's genuinely funny. And I mean, after I started the first season of Clannad, humor was very on point. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Idea became so far it's solid. I'm on a thread with Maeda though. If he fucks up if he fucks up a third time, then it's 3 strikes are out. And so far there's a couple of things that's working against the show, in that it's the same director as Charlotte, which I didn't like very much. I thought Charlotte was bad, and which is a shame, because Charlotte has such a great premise, and this has got a stellar premise too. Because listen to this, because the main character, which is Yota Nakarami, is playing basketball with his friends when this purple-haired girl just appears to him and claims that she is pretty much God, and claims that or in her words, that she's Odin, and that she's omniscient. She knows everything that's going to happen. Originally, and in the first episode, it becomes clear that, oh shit, she actually is omniscient. Like, she actually does know everything that's going to happen. And she claims the world is going to end in 30 days, and that there's, like... And a bunch of other stuff. But the gimmick is that while she's that it's clear in the first episode that she is omniscient, it's left unclear onto whether or not she's actually a god, because she's also an idiot and acts and is like and is like she's like, I think, like 9 or 10 years old in appearance, and she acts like she's 9 or 10 years old.
That's exactly what you want for your omnipotent being.
Omnipotent being. So and like a lot of Jun Maeda stuff, it's definitely going the route of, we're gonna figure out what the fuck is going on later on. It's only 12 episodes, which is, again, Jun Maeda needs to stop making episodes that are one core, please. But who knows? Maybe this the last 2 times it was because they were cut down from the originally double core. This one was apparently built as 12 from the start. So hopefully that actually fixes the big problem with this show. If it does, then we're solid and good to go. But hopefully it's good. I'm giving him one last chance. If it's not good, then I'm out. Cause I'll stick with his visual novels then. But in any case, that's all that pretty much premiered the past couple of days. Everything else is stuff that we're continuing to watch. We'll be so next week we'll be starting to talk about shows that have been continuing in new episodes of anime. Now let's move on.
Matt, I did actually start something on your request.
Yeah, let's let Spencer talk.
Yeah.
Because I did start something that I really want to quickly touch on. I started watching Talentless Nana.
Oh shit! You finally did. Because I've been getting people to watch this because it's really, really good.
Yeah. Debated.
Debated. It's really good. Did you expect the ending of that first episode?
No. No, I did not. I did not expect anything. I thought it was going to be like a dumb, like a rags to riches type story, where it's like, oh, Nana doesn't have a talent, but her talent is bringing out the talented others. And then, no, it's not. Really not. Oh god.
No, it's not. Yeah. So Shane, you need to watch Talentless Nana because it's really good.
I've heard things. I've heard things from Matt. I've heard things on Twitter.
Yeah.
Debated.
And it's really good. It's like the big thing that's selling me on it is like the first episode I really loved, but I was like, okay, I need to watch the second because I need to know if they could follow this up with like actually something like good in this tone, because otherwise it's gonna drop hard. Second episode was even better, and I'm like, okay, I'm sold. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like the second episode was fucking fantastic. And it reminds me, like, how do I give this tone without giving it away? I told the Shane that it has like Happy Sugar Life vibes, but that's not really true as part of the second episode. It reminds me a lot of Death Note.
Yeah.
Like legit a lot of Death Note. Because it revolves a lot around because it has a lot of internal monologues, and it's one of those shows that like it's got a really good structure to it. Mm-hmm. The second episode has brilliant foreshadowing that you don't notice until like the very end, and then your mind explodes. And it's really great. And if I want every episode to be kind of like this, weird, almost like it's almost like a mystery show in a way, actually.
Oh wait, I got it. Hey Shane.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the first episode of Babylon?
Oh,
yeah,
there we go.
Oh.
It's like that. Not as drastic as the first episode of Babylon, but something just as fucking out of nowhere and just what the fuck.
Yeah.
And then you rewatch the episode and you're like, wait a minute, they were hinting at it the whole time. So then it's like, well, damn, I'm an idiot. I sure saw this coming. But it's really good. But yeah, really good. Talentless Nana fucking whips.
Talentless Nana, very, very good. Hype Mike continues to be weird. Continues to be so weird. However, this episode, we actually got our first look at somebody else using the hypnosis microphone. And the effects,
he'll die if you keep using it psychologically.
The effects that it has on the mental and physical body. So it's like, oh, okay, so not everybody can really use these properly.
The whole point was that he had like 12 illegal mics on his person, and using one amplifies all of them. So he's like, it'll fuck you up psychologically. You'll fucking die. And that's no joke. Word for word. The
word
subtitles.
For word. He had a suicide vest of illegal microphones, and he rapped.
I died a little inside when the cop showed up behind him and he turned around and pointed the mic at them like a gun. I was like, oh god.
Fucking that rap that the lead Buster Bros sings.
That's a good rap.
Walking, though. That's like that one. I'm like, yo.
The first one?
Yeah.
Yes. That is actually from their first album. That's their single. That's Ichu is that's his solo song. It's so good. Their second song, We Run This City, isn't actually that is an original song. So it seems like they're doing one song from an album and one song that's original per episode. But yeah, it's still insane. It's still bonkers. And I don't know if did either of you watch the second episode of Akudama Drive yet?
Not yet.
I have not.
Okay. I'm not going to say anything, but I will say that this fully shows off how Danganronpa inspired it is, because every time there's a scene change, you get this stylish little logo at the bottom that gives you the scene, and the actual like environment it drops from the ceiling, and like it's made out of paper, like the Danganronpa games, and it looks so cool. But
this is Danganronpa in Cyberpunk.
All of these characters, if I was blindfolded, if I didn't know that Akudama Drive existed, and you showed me these characters, I would say Danganronpa, because they are Danganronpa characters.
I've only seen one thing from the second episode. It was from a Sakuga account that I follow. I don't know who it was, but I saw a sick-ass dropkick. That's all I saw.
It was probably Brawler, because everything with him is so.
I don't think it was Brawler, actually, because
it was someone drop-kicking Courier through a wall. That's all.
Yes. So I'm not going to spoil who those people are, but think of them as like the super cops that take down Akudamas.
That's the super cop.
Wait. Sorry. Judge Dredd.
I am about the law.
I am the law.
Aside from that, everything is still good. I'm going to be honest. After listening to the Akudama Drive OP, not a big fan of it.
Uh-oh.
It's stylish.
Well, it can't do everything, you know.
It's really stylish, and but the song is kind of grating.
It's probably one of those cases where like they had to give it a song that was like edgy.
Yeah.
So
instead of just like just give it the Danganronpa theme. I don't even get keep in Danganronpa. Just keep in the word, but just give it the Danganronpa theme. I'd be happy. But aside from that, nothing else.
Mm-hmm. So in any case, I think that's all we need to. Unless Shane has anything he wants.
No, I got nothing.
All right. Then in that case, let's move on to Simulpubs. If there's this Simulpubs, which it's the same versus last couple of weeks, which is My Hero's still really good.
Yeah.
There's not the thing about that is that we don't really have anything to talk about.
Is the new chapter out?
The new chapter's not out. The scans are.
Okay.
And I
New chapter's out today.
It is? Okay. Oh shit. Okay, Shane, have you read it yet?
No, they don't come out until noon.
All right.
So, but they are out today.
All right, because I read the scans, like not the whole thing, just a little bit of it, and a character is back that some people have been clamoring for to be back. So.
Oh no.
Take your guess onto who it is, and you can go from there.
Is it Shinzo?
No,
it's not Shinzo. Come on,
it's not Shinzo. What?
I don't know. People want it.
It's a character we thought died.
Is it fucking Hawks?
No, it's a character we thought died.
Best Genist.
Oh, don't even start. Don't even
start. But fucking.
I'm just saying.
But I think the thing I'm most looking forward to right now is the fact that we might be finally getting an Uraraka Toga fight. That seems to be the direction that it's going right now.
Yeah, based on the end of the last chapter, it definitely seems like that.
And I am very, very excited. Which someone brought up the good point of the fact that what this arc seems to be doing is the Shigaraki fight seems to be pretty much over at this point. At the very least, wrapping up. Is that what they might be doing is that a lot of these fights are actually like round one of like the heroes versus the respective like arch nemesis villains.
Yeah,
so with Deku, it's Shigaraki, with Uraraka, it's Toga, and then and Dabi's getting a lot of focus, and now Dabi's going after Shoto. So I want to see I want to see Todoroki versus Dabi.
Just say it already, Horikoshi.
Just say that Dabi
on.
is Todoroki. Just say it. Like,
just get it over with. Just rip the Band-Aid off it at this point.
We know because we know he's won. Like, and even though the story hasn't made it clear that he is one, but it's so obvious.
Painfully obvious.
It's very, very obvious
that he's a Todoroki, and I just want Horikoshi to just rip the Band-Aid off. You know what would be funny, by the way, is if he finally reveals who it is, and I would be more surprised if he isn't a Todoroki.
If his name was just Jackson Shigaraki.
Jackson Pollock.
That's it. Famed artist Jackson Pollock burned himself on his paint and then became a
fireman.
Yeah, perfect.
Became a fireman.
Perfect.
I'd be more shocked if he wasn't a Todoroki at this point, because he obviously is. There's no why else would his name be blacked out? Is my question. If his name wasn't a big fucking spoiler, unless he's like Satan or something. But in any case, I'm very excited to see where this goes. Got a new chapter out today, so definitely gonna be. I think One Piece comes back today too.
One Piece does, yes, finally.
Finally, after it had a week off, just naturally, but then Oda also got sick.
Yes.
Oda got sick, so he took a deep week off, and then last week was his break week, like he usually has. So he had 2 weeks off. So now I'm happy One Piece is back because One Piece is One Piece. So in any case, I think we're pretty much done talking about Simul stuff. So let's move on to our pieces of news. We have 2 pieces of news, both of which involve movies. So this didn't take too long. First of all, let's talk about Demon Slayer. So Demon Slayer came out in Japan. Demon Slayer came out. And I will be back in 1 second because I'm getting yelled at. So.
All right, Spencer, it's time for sponsors.
Oh shit, I've done this a while. 1 second, let me just. Oh god. Oh, I gotta get my sponsor book out.
All right, who do we got on the docket today?
Let's see, our sponsor today is... can't use them. I'm banned from that place.
Oh, wait, what?
Okay, got it. Are you ready?
Hi, I'm ready.
So our sponsor today is brought to you by the lovely people at AFK Arena. Now, AFK Arena is a unique take on the RPG mobile game app. You see, AFK Arena, now brought to you by Markiplier and his dog Chica, allows you to play through a vast and beautiful RPG story. However, there's a twist.
Oh.
You can go AFK, and the game will automatically play itself simply, effectively, powerfully.
What?
Your creatures and heroes will level up by themselves, gain experience, skills, and everything. And once you come back, all that experience and skills automatically added to your character.
I don't know what's going on anymore.
Now, you might be asking, AFK Arena.
What?
What does that stand for?
Yeah, what does it stand for, Spencer? Tell me.
AFK Arena. A, awesome. F, fucking. K, cool. Awesome fucking cool arena. That's right.
You know if they spell cool with a K that they're being
cool.
Serious.
Yeah, so if you log in with the promo code GAP PAG 3, that is GAPPAG3 GAP PAG 3 AFK Arena. Go fuck yourself, Raid Shadow Legends.
That's their tagline. That's not Spencer.
That's their tagline.
That's our official tagline. Thank you for today's lovely sponsor, AFK Arena. So anyway, Matt, what's going on with the news?
And so Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer came out in Japan.
I am absolutely naming the episode GAPPAG3.
GAPPAG3.
So Demon Slayer came out in Japan today. Actually, the day we're recording this, it's out. And of course, with the news that it came out in Japan, we need to know, when's it coming to North America?
Yeah, when do I get my Mugen Train arc?
Well, Shane, you get your Mugen Train arc very soon. So let's read on. Funimation and Aniplex of America announced at the New York Comic Con Metaverse panel for the Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba series on Friday. They will screen the Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba the movie Mugen Train film in theaters in North America in early 2021. The film is a sequel to the Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba television series. The film opened in Japan on October 16th. The anime will be screening in all 38 IMAX theaters in Japan on the same day. It will be the first Japanese film opening this year to screen in IMAX theaters. I wonder why that is. Theater goers will receive a Rengoku Volume 0 manga volume, which is limited to 4.5 million copies. Original manga creator Koharu Gotoge drew the manga, which shows Rengoku's first ever mission as a Demon Slayer. The main staff members from the feature television anime are returning for the sequel film. Toho and Aniplex are handling the film's distribution in Japan. So early 2021, no release date. Obviously, for reasons that are very clear to those who have lived through 2020.
Yeah, remember 2020? It's not even over yet.
It's not even over yet. So the question is, will this actually be out in time for 2021? Is the question. Will this be out in time? Because theaters are open technically, but nothing's coming out.
Yeah, nothing's coming out of the theaters because
the pandemic. Because the pandemic and the one film that tried to, Tenet, didn't do very well.
Nope.
So we have a case of do y'all think that Demon Slayer is going to make that early 2021 release date over here at least?
I have no earthly idea because it literally could change on a dime. They could be like, well, say like January or February rolls around and things are still the way they are and people don't want to take any risks and things are still limited. They might just say fuck it and put it on streaming, honestly. I feel like that could be a direction that they go, because that's the direction everyone seems to be going. And
at least over here, because in Japan, things are a little better over there right now.
Yeah.
So,
like imagine over here, things come January or February are still the same, and they can't release it in theaters. Imagine them putting that on Funimation as like a big theatrical, air quotes, event on like Funimation servers? Now.
With their servers, it's going to break the site.
It is going to crash immediately.
The question is, though, is that they also need to dub it, too, if they do this, because that's probably why they're waiting a bit, too.
Right.
Yeah, so they got to dub it, which that isn't an issue. But the thing is that, like, there's two options here if it doesn't make the release. They either put it on streaming or they keep delaying it.
And if they keep delaying it, that might not spell well for them.
Yeah, because then people will start to pirate it, because it's like, well, it's out in Japan.
It's been out in Japan for like 3 months. There's probably fan subs of it.
Yeah, albeit shitty fan subs with like fucking cam rips. It's a case of like, I think it's probably gonna make the release date. To be honest, I think it's probably going to, because films are because there's still films are technically coming out, just nothing big. I think it will probably make the release date. I think it will probably be out theatrically. Whether or not we'll actually I will see it theatrically will all be dependent on whether or not the situation has cleared up by that time.
Will I be willing to risk my life and the lives of my family to go see Demon Slayer in theaters? No. Of course not.
No.
Yeah, no. So it'll all depend on see how much it will, if it's cleared up by that time. I'm going to hopefully assume that by early 2021 things have calmed down a bit.
We'll see.
But then again, I said that early in the year, and this still keeps going.
Yeah, so, it just keeps going, and nothing's changed. So
yeah, nothing's changed.
No, things have
things have changed, and then they regressed, and now we're back to almost square one. So
and it's a case of who knows at this point, but it's coming out, and I'm hopeful, and I just want to see this.
I literally don't care how I see it. I just want to see it.
Yeah, same. Speaking of ones I want to see, let's talk about Ava, because Ava just dropped a massive bombshell over the week. Yesterday.
Overnight.
Yeah, literally overnight. So let's read on. Studio Kara unveiled the third teaser trailer for Evangelion 3.1 plus 1.0, Thrice Upon a Time, Studio Kara's new Evangelion film on Friday. The teaser debuted before the Friday opening of the Demon Slayer film, and revealed that the film is now scheduled for January 23rd, 2021. The film was delayed due to concerns over the new coronavirus disease and its spread inside and outside of Japan. The film was originally scheduled to open in Japan on June 27th. Studio Kara debuted the first 10 minutes and 40 seconds of the film in July 2019. Okay, so who here watched the teaser?
I did.
You did not, Shane?
I did not, because, I haven't seen any of the rebuild shit, so.
Well, to be fair, even if you have seen the rebuild stuff, I don't even know if that would change anything, because I don't know what's going on with this teaser.
I don't know what's going on. I mean, don't get me wrong. I saw Best Girl, and I was happy.
What I saw was new plug suits that look dope as fuck, because they're on.
Yep.
I saw some amazing shots, and great animation, and it looks fantastic. I am so excited. I'm so excited for this to finally come out. Apparently, there was an interview with Ano about a couple weeks ago, actually, that said that apparently the climax of this movie, the final act of the movie, is 42 minutes long.
Whoa.
Christ.
Which, if we know basic act structure and how Ava and anime film structure themselves, this movie's about to be Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya lengths. It's like 3 hours long, apparently. Which, if anyone has seen 3.0, actually makes a lot of sense because there's shit that needs to be explained. So
listen here, you fucks. I should actually really go and rewatch all the rebuild films because I own them all now. But motherfuckers, 3.0 needs some explanation. And Shane, you'll understand when you watch them. Because what a fucking movie. I have no earthly idea how they are going to explain some of the shit that happened in 3.0.
If they even do. Because you know how Ava works.
It might just be like, don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm very excited to see how this goes. It looks great. My favorite thing about the trailers for Thrice Upon a Time is that even though he's the main character, we've seen very little of what Shinji's role in this is. I don't know what he's doing in this film, which I very much appreciate because the last film left him in like a state of flux. Okay, so for some clarification, the end of 3.0, he's left in the same way as he was at the end of episode 24 of the original series.
I see.
Yeah, my guess, so like his role's probably gonna be similar to what happened in End of Ava. The other question I have is, does Funimation still have the license to this?
I would assume so.
I'm going to assume he does. I'm going to assume they do.
Yes, I'm assuming Mr. Funimation still has the rights to this.
I assume the founder of Funimation, Mr. Funimation, still has the rights to this.
Please, call me Fun. Mr. Funimation is my dad.
Shut up. It's
I am shaking my head.
Fuck. But fun. I'm sure they still do. Because the question is like people are wondering if they don't or not. Because like, do they? Because which cast will they be using? Which dub cast will they be using? The new Netflix cast, or will they be using the Funimation rebuild cast? I'm hoping, for consistency's sakes, they use the rebuild cast.
I would assume so. Like, I don't see why they would use the Netflix cast.
I don't know why they used the Netflix cast in the beginning.
The reason why, I'm pretty sure, is because Funimation and Kara didn't get along when they were dubbing 3.0. Did I ever talk to you guys about what happened with the dub for 3.0?
I feel like you have, but
I don't. Anyway. It's been a long time since we talked about this.
So 3.0, which, by the way, 3.0 came out 8 years ago. Think about that. 3.0 came out 8 years ago in 2012. And Funimation took a little bit to dub it for a multitude of reasons. But originally came out. It was originally released had a theatrical screening in January of 2014. So about around a year and a bit after the original. This was before Funimation did simuldubbing, so that was around like the right amount of time that it would take for a film to come out over here. The dub came out, and then what happened is the release of the Blu-ray was mysteriously delayed, and we heard nothing for like over 2 years. So it turns out that the original dub, because I watched that original dub theatrically when it first came out, and then when it came out on Blu-ray, in 2016, like 2 years later, I rewatched the dub, and it was completely different. The reason why was because Studio Kara saw the original dub that they put out for 3.0, fucking hated it, thought it was disrespectful, and assumed that they were making a mockery of their series. So what they did was they sent a guy over, and pretty much Kara directed the dub themselves and forced Funimation to redub everything line for line, more like the original Japanese, which is why Spencer Funim 3.0's dub feels a little stilted, because everything is super Japanese accurate. So a lot of these words sound really fucking weird. Really fucking weird. That's also why in the Netflix dub certain things are changed, because Kara is just now really because they think that any small changes in the English language is an insult to Ava for some reason, which is super overprotective and super dumb.
Mm-hmm. I do not agree with that personally.
Yeah, it's a case of Kara has a lot of money and they're able to throw it around. Because Ava makes a lot of money. Like 3.0, to give the perspective, most anime films do even in Japan, the niche business. Ava makes fucking Disney levels of money in Japan. That shit, 3.0 did bonkers good. It did Ghibli levels of money. So it's a case of the Kara's got money to throw around for Ava, which is probably why they're able to get away with this. They're gonna do the same thing with this one. I know they're gonna do it. I just hope they keep Funimation, because I just want to hear Spike Spencer, Tiffany Grant, and Allison Keith one last time before the Netflix cast inevitably redubs the rebuilds at whatever point. So, in any case, Twice Upon a Time's coming out. I'm really excited, and hopefully it comes out over here very quickly, because I don't want to wait 2 years again for.
I literally at this point I just want to hear Spike Spencer again. That's all. Tiffany Grant. I just want to hear one more time, just for old time's sake, because as much as actually I don't hate the Netflix dub. I think it's a well-made dub, all things considered. Mm-hmm. But there's something very, very special about the original Funimation dub, about the rebuild dub. It's something that honestly, I think, Matt, you'll agree with me, is that there's really no words to properly explain it. There's just something special about the life that they gave these characters.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the rebuild dub is fantastic, and I just want to hear Spike Spencer one last time. Personally, because this is going to be Anno's first. This is his final. This is his final film that he's doing for Ava. This is the last Ava thing he's doing. So after this, he's done, and I just want more. I just want a last hurrah for a lot of these people, and especially everything in the trailers looks fantastic too. I'm really excited to see how it just where this takes us, and how they end this ridiculous bonkers series. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so let's move on to our featured anime of the podcast, which is picked by Shane for our classics month. We're still in the month of classics, so it's a show from 1984. and it is generally regarded as the grandfather of everything shonen, and that is the shonen classic Fist of the North Star. Specifically, its first part, which is 22 episodes, directed by Tsuyu Ishida and written by Toshiki Inoue. So Toei Animation, and this part originally aired from October 11th, 1984 to March 21st, 1985, and is currently licensed by Discotek Media, and you can go watch it in the link down below, on Crunchyroll, in only sub. There is a dub that was released originally, like early 90s, like late 90s, early 2000s, from Manga Entertainment, but it only dubbed up to episode 39 for whatever reason. So not much of it is dubbed, and I've listened to it, and it's not that great of a dub. So
it's a very early 80s anime dub.
Yeah, it's not spectacular. But in any case, it's out of the sub. Crunchyroll for anyone who wants to watch it. Fist of the North Star takes place in a post-apocalyptic society, a future where sometime in this universe, sometime in the 90s, there was a nuclear war and everything went to shit. And so money has no more. Civilization is pretty much gone to shit, and there's like no more sense of order. Everything is a wasteland. Everything's like a desert, and people literally fight for food and water as like currency and as like the reason to survive. We follow Kenshiro, who is a wandering martial artist who goes from place to place in search for his lover Yuria, who was taken from him by Shin. Shin is the master of the Nanto Shinken, a martial arts style that uses the points in one's body to kill them immediately. Thankfully, Kenshiro is also a martial arts master. That's of the Fist of the North Star, the Hokuto Shinken, where he uses the hidden power points in one's body to literally blow people up. And
explosion.
No, and story follows Kenshiro along with two of his companions, with his Bat and Lin, as they go on a quest to search for Yuria and Shin, so he can take them down once and for all. Fist of the North Star is one of the most influential and important anime ever made. It pretty much created a genre, and it has influenced not just shonen anime, but just anime in general, from its pacing to its direction to the way it was made and written, both in manga and anime format. So when we talk about Fist of the North Star, it's impossible to not talk about it in the context of just this invented it. This, like the shonen format we see nowadays in every shonen, this is it. This is where it came from. And so Shane, you were the one who picked this, so let's start with you. What did you think of Fist of the North Star? Because this is your first time watching it, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm. Yo, this shit fucking whips.
This shit's awesome.
Like, this shit rules.
Okay.
Like, I knew
that you were gonna love it, but I always have a worry that you're gonna be turned off because of its age.
No, like,
he watches Dragon Ball.
If it's well made, I don't care how old it is. Like, Lupin was 13 years older than this, and that shit was amazing. So, yeah. As long as it's well made, I don't care how old it is, because this is almost 40 years old now, and this shit fucking dope.
Yeah, this shit's dope.
This is, and I think you guys will agree, there is no better way to describe this than shonen in its purest form.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
you love shonen, you're gonna love Fist.
Like, everything, if you love shonen, down to its tropes, its conventions, its pacing, its structure, then you need to watch this, because this pretty much created everything you've ever loved. And it does it with such ease. Like, it doesn't feel like it's trying to be good, it just is. And from its style to its characters to the over-the-top fights and techniques to the fact that this show might be the most violent thing I've ever seen in my goddamn life.
This is a shonen, Shane.
Like,
it's aired for children.
This aired for children, probably in like an early morning slot. But yeah, this shit is like, you could put this on a pedestal of shonen, and I wouldn't blame you, because this is just masterful.
So yeah, Spencer, what did you actually watched it? So before
yes,
we did this. So what did so re-watching Fist of the North Star? What did you think of it?
Man, yeah. So like, it really, above anything else, just completely showed me. Yeah, this is just Mad Max. This is Japanese Mad Max. The Mad Max inspiration, it wears heavily on its sleeve. Same as with its inspiration from like old kind of Chinese action films with like Bruce Lee and stuff like that. It wears it on its sleeve wholeheartedly, but it doesn't try to be something that it's not. And we all three of us here, we all like JoJo. We're all fans of JoJo. Now, do you understand when people say that part 1 is just Fist of the North Star?
It really is. Albeit, I think that part 1 of JoJo, I still think part 1 of JoJo is different enough from this.
Oh, it is, but you can definitely see where Araki started.
Well, because Jonathan is basically Kenshiro.
Yeah.
And like, it's a case of like, you can't escape Fist of the North Star in the 80s, because this shit was everywhere in Japan. This was a huge series that did extremely well. So like it was like the huge thing for a while. I had never seen Fist of the North Star prior to this. My only experiences with Fist of the North Star was like the memes, the live action film from the 90s, which is awful, and one episode of Fist of the Blue Sky, which I didn't care for.
Let me just say this. Watching this in retrospect, Blue Sky sucks.
Why do you think I refused to watch more than one episode? I was like, this is not Fist of the North Star. This isn't even close.
To be fair, I've seen a bit of the Blue Sky manga, and it's a lot better. So I don't know. Maybe it was just a bad adaptation.
It probably was just a bad. I mean, did you look at it?
Yeah, but it's my only experience with this. So I didn't know much about Fist of the North Star. So I watched it, and 22 episodes later, Fist of the North Star is the purest example of just hot-blooded shonen, because every episode is badass. This is a badass show. Depth, we don't do that here.
No.
This, I loved watching this. This was a blast. It's a ton of fun. It's so gory, and I love it.
It's so violent. Like, it's so violent.
Mm-hmm.
It's so violent. It's so gory. And it's a case of like, it's a case of, I love old school shonen like this that are just beyond, like, so gory, and it's brutal, but it also has like a great lead, and it got like a bunch of other great stuff about it. There's a couple of issues I have with it, but like it's a case of like, it don't bother me too much, because it created a genre, and any issues that the genre had came from this show, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. And it's one of those things where like I can actually point to a lot of things in this show that this show actually does better than some of the shonen, but we'll get into that. But let's move on to our favorite episodes from this block. Shane, what was your favorite episode from this block of Fist of the North Star? Because we're only talking about the first part of the show.
Did anyone else have the finale as the best episode?
Because mine's the finale as well. I don't know if Spencer does.
It's not, but that's also because I've seen the whole thing. So,
all right. My favorite of this block is the finale, which is conclusion of Chapter 1, Julia Forever, as well as Shin.
Julia? Who the hell's Julia?
Julia. Technically, technically, Yuria is Julia in the English, in both the translation for the manga and the dub. But it's Yuria in the sub.
Yuria.
They can't pronounce Julia correctly because they're Japanese.
It's cute.
But no, this episode's really good. It's really good. Because this shows the climactic fight between Kenshiro and Shin, which is something that had been building up over the course of 22 episodes. And it's a great ass fight. I think that's what really sells it, is that the fight itself is really great. And what I love about it is that it wraps everything up, but in ways that you wouldn't expect. Like what they did with Yuria, I didn't expect.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like a nice subversion of your expectations.
Because spoiler for almost 40-year-old show, Yuria kills herself. And that was something I didn't see coming. Because it's like, oh, okay. So now Kenshiro is big mad at Shin. And Shin is a bastard. An absolute bastard.
Shin is as we like to call him down here in Canada, a fuckwad.
A fuckwad.
See, which is funny because Shin is actually one of my favorite characters of the entire show.
Oh no, he's great.
He's a phenomenal villain.
He's he's up there for me with those villains that you just hate because they have no redeeming qualities except for he's kind of like a dandy man.
It's it's weird because Shin's not my favorite character, but he is one of my favorite characters because not only is he a phenomenal villain, but you can tell throughout the course of the show that he actually genuinely cares about Yuria, and he just wants to make her happy, but he's going about it in all the wrong ways. Like, he's just misguided, and that, I think, is a key element to what makes a villain really interesting, because they think they're doing the right thing. They think they're going about things the right way, but they're not.
Yeah. What gets me about Shin, in particular, we'll get into more of him later, but he reminds me of I love him for the same reason I love Dio.
Yep, I was just gonna say.
Because Dio is an absolute fuckwad and a bastard, but I love Dio. I think Dio's a blast, and Shin's the same way. Whenever Shin's on screen, he's an asshole and I hate him, but he's so much fun. He's so much fun. Because there's two kinds of villains I love. Either have a really complicated, interesting, three-dimensional villain, or just go ham and have the worst motherfucker on the planet.
Just make him an absolute ass.
I make him an ass, because if you make him an absolute ass, at least you can have fun with it. And that's what they do with Shin. Shin's just a blast to have around. He's a great antagonist. He has a great design. And that final fight between him and Kenshiro in that final episode wraps everything up great. And the actual end of the story with him, with Kenshiro burying Shin, is just a great final moment.
I love
arc.
I love that fight with Ken versus Shin, because it's, first off, the fight itself is great. Just watching Ken beat the piss out of this guy is just so cathartic. But it's also a callback to episode 5, the flashback episode, where you see what happened between Ken and Shin, and where back then it was one-sided. Shin destroys Ken. now all this time later, we get to the final episode of the season. We finally get to this climactic showdown, and the tables have completely turned, and it's Ken who's the one that's just decimating Shin. And I love the consistency in that storytelling. I love the callback, and I love how it shows just the progress that Kenshiro has made on this journey. And also in the first episode, when he's just like walking through Shin's castle, just decimating dudes without even making a sound, it's just badass.
Yeah, it's badass shit. Like, just a great episode. Spencer, what's your favorite episode of the first one?
I think that everything in this section is amazing. However, whenever I rewatch it, and I get to episode 16, in which there's just Beyblades. They just turn into Beyblades.
There's just Beyblades.
I realize truly in my heart of hearts how stupidly amazing this show is.
Oh, is that the one with the rival games? Where like because episode 16 is the one with the rival games. If you're talking about the Beyblade ones,
is it 12?
What?
Is that 12 or 13?
For what? For you, the Beyblades?
Yeah, 13. Yeah, 13 is the one with the giant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's a good one, actually. I like that.
That's a good one. They bleed together, but yeah, no, the one with the Beyblades.
That's episode 15.
15?
That was
one
the
off.
one with the what?
I said, it was one off.
Yeah, because he turned into a Beyblade when he's fighting the mind-controlled zombie people.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which is episode 15, yeah.
Yeah, which is also filler, technically. Was not in the original source material.
Still a good episode, though.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun because it's really dumb, but it's also it's also a blast.
It's kind of amazing in its own weird way, where you're just like, oh, so this is what we're gonna do for about 20 minutes.
Yep.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. So yeah, the show is pretty. The show has a ton of great episodes. Let's talk about favorite characters because there's only one choice to me. There's only one choice here.
It's the successor of the Divine Fist of the North Star. It's Kenshiro.
Yeah, it's Kenshiro. Spencer, do you have Kenshiro?
Okay.
He doesn't have Kenshiro.
No. I have to think about this because I obviously have all the knowledge. For this section, I will say Kenshiro. Okay. For the entire show, it's Bat.
Yeah. Oh, I love Bat. We'll get into Bat. But Kenshiro. Okay, so Kenshiro is a man's man.
He is the most. Listen, if we had the term toxic masculinity in the 80s that was like popularized, it would just be like a picture of Kenshiro. Because no, but
debatable.
He is like a man. He's a man's man.
Yeah.
He is a larger than life magic man that can not only blow people up, but also has a magical shirt
that reappears and disappears every time.
Are we talking about the shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That every time he'll rip it and then but it will magically reappear after
literally the next scene has reincarnated.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. Every time he breaks his shirt. I love Kenshiro though, and I love Kenshiro for a lot of reasons. One, he's a badass, but also because he's actually like my favorite thing about Kenshiro is that what sets him apart from a lot of shonen protagonists, even nowadays, actually, is that Kenshiro is just a nice dude.
Mm-hmm. He's just a cool guy.
He's just a good guy, and he's and the fact that Kenshiro is that he's a man's man because he's a badass, but he's also no matter what the situation is, Kenshiro is always going to do the heroic thing no matter what, every single time.
He never wavers in his resolve. He always knows what's right and what's wrong, and he sticks to his morals.
Yeah, and I love that about him a lot. I think that's what makes him a great character and a great protagonist. And he's also interesting because he has the history with Shin, so he has a direct connection to the villain.
And he has a love interest, which I wasn't expecting this to be kind of like a romance, but it kind of is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And he has he has his heart on. He's like, he loves Yuria. He loves Yuria, and then he loses Yuria, and like he's haunted constantly by the loss of Yuria, losing Yuria to Shin, and and that's what drives his entire motivation here. It's just he wants Yuria back, and that's it. And of course, he gets sidetracked along the way multiple times.
Yeah, because of those damn kids.
Because of those damn kids. But Kenshiro's just a great character. Shane, talk about Kenshiro. And
I just like Kenshiro a lot because he, to me, is the like archetypal shonen protagonist. He's got everything you would want a good protagonist to have. He's got a cool design. He's got a cool fighting style. He's just an all-around swell guy. And it's always, no matter what he's doing, and I think this is a good indicator of what makes a good protagonist, it doesn't matter what he does, it's always fun to watch him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they could be driving out in the desert, they could be saving a village, they could be fighting zombie people. Like, it doesn't matter. A good protagonist you can put into any situation, and you will still have a good time watching them and root for them, and that's what Kenshiro is. Like, they put him into any situation you could possibly think of, and he's still fun to watch. So,
yeah, he's great to have.
Also, this guy's got like a million techniques. Like, what?
Yeah, well, he's also known as Seven Scar Ken.
Well, they just call him the man with 7 scars.
Yes, but he has a lot of names, okay?
Yeah, he is what is the North Star? He is the North Star.
Yeah, he is the North Star. He's the man with the 7 stars.
Mm-hmm.
But with a favorite must come a least favorite. And Fist the North Star as a series is no stranger to having worse characters on the podcast. In fact, back in 2018, Shane named 2 characters as the worst male characters of 2018. Specifically, what was it?
One second.
It was Hippo Guy,
Hippo Man, and Metal Toupee.
Metal Toupee and Hippo Guy. And so, obviously, no strangers to pointless bad characters, which there are a couple of here. There's a couple people here that I couldn't stand. Like that one villain who was like the leader of the warriors, and he was like just a coward. Hated that fucker. He's not my least favorite. But,
God, what was his name?
Zed or some shit.
It wasn't Zed. I can't remember his name now.
Jackal. That's his name. Is Jackal? That's his name.
That's it.
He's a bitch, and I don't like him.
Yeah.
But Shane, who's your least favorite character from this part of North Star?
Ooh.
It's hard because there's a couple of contenders here.
So.
Because there's a lot of one-off villains that are just like bad.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna explain myself. My least favorite character, and I think Matt might agree with me. My least favorite character is Lin.
I hate Lin so much. She's mine too.
Let me explain why Lin is my least favorite character. First of all, she does nothing. Absolute shit. Second, when she does try to do something, she's always causing trouble for the rest of the group. She's not self-aware in the slightest. All she gives a shit about is following
What are we talking
Ken.
about?
We're talking about how Lynn is bad, and I don't like her very much.
Oh, no, that's fair. That's a fair assessment.
She doesn't do anything.
She doesn't get good. She doesn't get good until like the end of the series.
Yeah.
She doesn't get the time skip.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't do anything. Whenever she tries to do something, it just causes trouble for everyone else. She's not self-aware at all. She doesn't think, oh, maybe my actions are, negatively affecting the people around me. No, she just cares about following Ken. Ken this, Ken that.
Ken.
Also,
oh god.
Also, she's a bitch because, listen, okay, you have somebody around your age that likes you. His name is Bat.
Mm-hmm.
Or, as he's known in English, Bart.
Are you actually kidding me?
That's his name in English, yeah.
His name in English is Bart.
Holy shit.
And technically, Lynn isn't Lynn, it's Rin. But she is known as Lynn in English. But ironically, not spelled L-I-N, actually spelled L-Y-N-N. Like the name.
Yeah. Viz had this in the 90s, so don't just go with it.
So Lynn bad, and
I don't like Lynn. My problem with Lynn is like she's supposed to be like the heart of the group, if that makes sense. She's supposed to be the one that like you're most emotionally attached to, because they spend a lot of time in the first couple episodes, setting up Lynn as a character. And giving her a tragic backstory, the tragic past, and a lot of trauma. But then they don't do anything with it.
Yeah, because after the first episode, she's just obsessed with Ken, and it's all she cares about, and that's the only motivator she has, is following Ken to the ends of the earth.
Yeah. And Ken just lets her.
Ken's just like, yeah, whatever, kid.
My favorite, Ken just lets her for some reason. I don't know. I don't like Lynn. She doesn't do anything. She's the perfect example of what I would like to call the North Star syndrome, where they'll introduce characters that don't do anything, and then they just don't do anything. Because apparently that seems to be something that translates over to other installments of the series.
Which,
take a look, Metal Toupee and Hippo Guy.
Oh man. Which, okay, listen, Lynn, I understand that you had a traumatic childhood, that your parents were killed right in front of you from bandits, and it traumatized you to the point where you couldn't even speak for like several years after the fact. But does that really give you the right?
To not do anything?
Does that really give you the right to, as soon as like one person comes around and shows you kindness, that you become literally obsessed with them and literally your entire life revolves around them? Can you please do something other than shout Ken? Please.
It's an absolute mess of a fucking character. Spencer, who's your least favorite?
Oh, it's Lynn as well. She's annoying. She's hard to actually enjoy her company. She does nothing. All she screams is Ken. I could also, in a weird sense, give it to Ken for allowing this to happen and not being like, listen, you are a literal child. You are a fucking...
He lets Bat follow him, too. I find that...
But Bat is cool. I like Bat. Bat turns into a badass. Also, Bat would probably follow him regardless, not just because he's Ken, but because...
Meal ticket.
Because money.
He can give him food. Fucking... That's what... I will get into Bat in a bit, because Bat's great. But, like...
I just want to say that, Ken's weird, like... Ken's weird, what's the word I'm looking for?
A posse?
No, Ken's weird, God, I don't know what the fact that he lets children follow him around, and not specifically just children, orphans. He has I was hoping that one episode where there was that girl who had her parents murdered by bandits, and Lin was like, oh, she's like me now. Her parents were killed by bandits. I was hoping in the back of my head that they would take that girl with them too, and then I was like, could they just rename the show Kenshiro and his merry band of orphans?
Oh my god, it's just fucking Cosmic Kiryu. It's just I'm gonna open up an orphanage at the end of this series, and we're just gonna have a bunch of orphans.
Well, I mean, like, he's based on Kenshiro.
Yes.
So that probably wasn't a coincidence.
Kenshiro just digs orphans, dude.
Could Kenshiro?
That's a weird thing to say, but
yeah, I shouldn't have phrased it that way.
out of context, that's like, what the hell, huh? Let's talk about stuff that I actually do like about other stuff we like about the show. The OP whips.
OP whips.
Shock.
It's that old school. Like, one thing I love about the OP is that it's this old school, like,
it's hair metal.
It's old school hair metal. That's also like an old school anime OP where it's just kind of like big, loud, and dumb.
Those are definitely words you could use to describe it.
And it's got great visuals too.
Yeah.
It tells you everything you need to know about the show.
Speaking of visuals, animation in the show, for the most part, whips pretty hard.
I have a different opinion on that, actually. I'm a little bit on the fence on the animation. There are moments where this show looks great. There are also moments when the show looks butt ugly.
There's quite a bit of bank.
I think, hot take time. I think out of all the 3 original big shonen that Toei did in the 80s, between this, Dragon Ball, and Saint Seiya, this has aged the worst by far.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Like, no, by a landslide. There are lot of reused animation.
Yeah,
here.
tons of reused.
Oh, like the animation of him ripping his shirt is the same thing every time. The same, like, 5 seconds every time. It's not as bad as Ghost Shogun, where we use like a minute and a half of animation, but it's consistent enough where, like, you'll notice that they reuse certain shots a lot.
Oh yeah.
So, like, the show occasionally looks fantastic, particularly in the fight scenes, but there are some moments where this looks like poo.
Which, I mean, like, par for the course with Toei, am I right?
Yeah, I thought Dragon Ball in its first couple of episodes looked a lot better than this.
Yeah, I think that comes down to the art style, because Dragon Ball is a lot more stylized, whereas this is more realistic and grounded.
It's the JoJo problem, where if you actually watch JoJo, the JoJo animation isn't exactly top tier either. It looks really great, the art style's great, but it's stilted, because I think the problem with Fist of the North is that it has really detailed character designs.
Yep.
And that's difficult to animate. With that being said, the art in this show is occasionally really good. The background art is really great. It really has the Mad Max sense. I'm pretty sure they reused the same, like, enemy models a couple of times, because they all like bikers.
A lot of the bandits do look very similar, which, whatever, I can get over that.
I can get over that because it don't just matter. Yeah, it's mostly just the Mad Max inspiration.
Because they fucking explode anyway, so.
Everything in Mad Max was about bikers. I will agree, actually, wholeheartedly, that, yeah, this show, animation-wise, does not stand up for the test of time. However, I think in character design, it really can't be beat.
It holds up in character design, definitely.
Kenshiro is such a recognizable character. Like, even if we didn't have all the memes, you would look at Kenshiro and be like, okay, that guy's supposed to be like a fighting badass.
Yeah,
but there's the guy. He's the guy who says, "Omae wa mo shindeiru." That's him.
Dude, it happened in episode 1, and I was like, he said it. He said it.
He says it almost every
the line.
episode.
He said the line. But I think what people don't realize is that fucking sound effect is ear splitting.
Oh yeah,
it actually hurt my ears a couple of times because I was listening with headphones, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's like you're like, Jesus. Ugh. But like, yeah, no, I do agree. Animation wise, it doesn't hold up, but like the music and the fight scenes,
So good.
the music was so good. And give me a second because I'm gonna look up exactly who does the music. But
it was me. I did it.
What?
It was me. I composed it.
You did it? Wow.
It was Nozomi Aoki.
Yeah, that's it.
My favorite thing about Fist of the North Star, though, is specifically how Fist of the North Star is the perfect mix between dead serious and fucking
stupid.
Because it takes its story dead seriously, and its emotional beats dead seriously, but then you have shit like Kenshiro turning into a Beyblade. Or moments where, like where he's fighting a man who can hypnotize people and turn them into zombies who attack them.
Yeah.
Or he's able to he's able to touch your forehead and make your back go.
He's like, hang on, you see these two fingers right here? You will die in 3 seconds.
Omae shindeiru.
Like, hang on, I'm just gonna hit these two very specific, well-hidden pressure points, which all of them have different names, by the way. Mm-hmm. All right, as soon as I let my fingers out, your spine will contort into a pretzel.
Yeah, which the reason why this happened is so funny. The reason, like, Tetsuro Hara, who's the creator of Fist of the North Star, he was suggested because he was a martial arts fan, but he also knew about acupuncture for some reason.
Oh my fucking
God. His editor told him, "Why don't you combine them?" And he did. That's literally how the manga came about.
Oh my fucking God.
That's amazing.
That's incredible.
It's like, wait a minute, you know martial arts and acupuncture. Mash them together. That's a show.
I could just imagine the scene from The Simpsons where Mr. Burns is at the store trying to pick between ketchup and catsup, like, martial arts, acupuncture, how are these two different now?
How are these two different? But in any case, like, I love that the mix of, like, the dumb and the serious. Like, this show's really stupid. Let's clarify that. This show's really stupid. If you've never seen Fist of the North Star, there's stuff in this that's like that is like you think we'd be making it up. Quite frankly, there's a scene where Kenshiro fights a giant man who thinks that a smaller man is his brother. And this giant man is big. Why is he big? Who knows?
I don't know.
Big, okay? Don't worry about it.
He's just a big boy.
Trained the Indian martial art of what's its name of Rakan Nyoken, the Avat Deva Fist.
Yes.
Which is a forbidden art.
A forbidden art because it was too powerful.
And I just love the mix between dumb and serious. Shane, what do you love about this show?
Much like you just said, I love how fucking dumb this show is, because I am a dumb man and I like dumb things, so this is keeping the goopy goblin in my brain nice and content. Everything I love about the show really comes down to the fact that this was basically the thing that kicked off the shonen genre. Like, all the cool character designs, the badass fight scenes, the weird powers, the dumb shit. Like, it all can be traced back to this. And I think that's why I love it so much, because I realize that and I can appreciate it for doing all those things. Like, this is a historical show in a sense, because it kickstarted the genre from scratch. And so all of these different tropes that I've recognized from Shonen throughout the years traces back to this specific show. And I think that's the reason why I appreciate it so much. Because everything I love about Shonen, this show did it first. And going back and experiencing it for the first time, seeing where all of these different tropes and cliches originated is honestly a really cool experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it doesn't help that it just does everything really well too. Like
it uses it. More shonen need to listen to this show because what it does is it actually tells its story visually.
Visual storytelling.
Everything. Thank fuck. Fist of the North Star was doing it in 1984. There is no fucking excuse for shonen in 2020 to be not doing that.
Why the hell can't My Hero shut up sometimes?
I love it as much as I adore it. Why can't it shut up?
Why can't it shut up? Like all of these modern shonen that have all of these characters like monologuing and
One Piece does this too.
Explaining everything and just giving us the exposition through dialogue need to take a step back and look at the Grandpappy. Go back to Grandpappy and say, hey, Grandpappy, what should I be doing differently? Yo, tell your story through visuals, you fucking idiot.
Visuals. Lots of visual storytelling. The way they introduce Kenshiro is brilliant.
I love that introductory scene of him coming in through the desert, collapsing from exhaustion.
Dialogue there.
And then him looking up at the sky and seeing the vision of Yuria. Like, it tells you everything you need to know about the premise, the protagonist, and the world without a single word spoken. And more shows need to do that because that's how you do proper storytelling.
Like it's like there's a lot of stuff, like the director who did this, his name is Tsuyu Ishida. He is best known as he was the director of Fist of the North Star. He was also the director of the original Vampire Hunter D film. Classic. And he also worked on Minky Momo, that fucking show again, from last week. And he's one of those things where, and his style is very distinct, and he uses a lot of high visual storytelling, a lot of like wide shots. The thing I love about Fist of North Star is that it's a big show. It's grand in scope. And it's like Mad Max, like Spencer said, in that like Kenshiro just kind of goes from place to place, and everyone just has their own story.
There are two types of people in this show. There are people that Kenshiro meets that have their own story, and then there are bad people that are just explicitly evil, just like
people that he kills.
Like, there is nothing else. It is, you are either a good person who Kenshiro will give head pats to, or you are the literal devil.
Which leads me to one of my criticisms on Fist of the North Star, actually, in that every arc in the Fist of the North Star
is the same.
Kenshiro, Bat, and Lin come to a new area, and there's a bunch of people there who are dealing with a problem. What said problem is usually some dictator or group of ruffians that are evil, and that they are taking their food, taking their water for no other reason than they're dickheads. Kenshiro, they bond with one of the people there. That person usually dies. And then Kenshiro gets big mad and just kills everybody. And then they leave. That's pretty much every arc of this show.
Yep.
Which it gets repetitive. It's not necessarily a huge problem. But it's definitely noticeable. If you're a fan of like the big arc-based stuff that's in modern Shonen, and even in Dragon Ball and Saint Seiya, that stuff's not here. It's a lot more episodic, at least this section is. I know it changes later on to be more arc-based. But it's definitely got that issue. Any criticisms you have, Shane?
Okay. Basically, every problem you've ever had in a shonen originated here. Much like the good stuff, the bad stuff also came from this show. Weird pacing, overpowered protagonist.
Absolutely.
Lack of tension. Lack of tension, repetitive arc structures. Like it all just came from here, and that's the problem with being a that's the problem with being a revolutionary show like this that basically single-handedly created a genre, is that all of the flaws from similar shows that would come in the years after this have this to thank for that. And they're not necessarily issues with this show, but they definitely are apparent, and they definitely do drag it down for being a perfect show, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Like you said, like the weird pacing, like some episode, like there's a lot of filler here. There's a lot of filler, and I know there is because in the manga, this section, by the way, the Shin section of the manga is 10 chapters. The first 10. That's it. And is 10. And the arc at the end, like where he goes after Shin, actually happens right after the first major arc, which is the first 5 episodes.
So everything from episode 6 to
2016 is not just filler, but arcs that came afterwards changed around in order to fit into that middle section.
That's weird. So
the arc where the God Hand arc is right after Shin in the manga, like right after, and then the Warriors stuff with the big man and the and Bat's hometown is added after that, and it's mostly the same as the manga, with the exception of the fact that they add in the connections to Bloody Cross and Shin. That's all anime original stuff. And then, of course, then there's the arc with the... And, of course, there's the arc with the fortune teller that was kind of bad, and the guy that breathed fire. That's all filler. See, there's a lot of filler here. And you can tell because it kind of drags, and like Shane said, it has all the issues that would plague Shonen. They're still plaguing it to this day, actually, in a lot of ways. That it's still but like again, that's just the part of being the first one. Spencer, do you have any issues with Fist North Star, or?
I mean, honestly, everything that's been said positive can be flipped and mirrored negatively. The show's old, and it shows that age.
Yeah, it's definitely, out of all the shows we've covered, this is the one that feels the most old. It feels old. Not a bad thing, but you can definitely, you watch it nowadays, and it's like, yeah, this feels like it's from like 1984.
Yep.
With that being said, I can't, for all of its bad things, every anime that it gave us afterwards that followed in its footsteps, there is little that can be said that will diminish at least the effect that Fist of the North Star had on anime as a whole.
Yeah. It was a big deal, and it changed the game in a lot of ways. So I think that's why it's definitely worth checking out, even nowadays, as like an important piece of anime history. So I think it's time we move on to final scores. Shane, you're the one who picked this show. What do you give the final score to?
I was very tempted to give this a 10, because as I was going throughout it, I was like, man, this shit whips. And whatever little issues it has, like, I can excuse them because it's the first of its kind. But then after I finished it, in retrospect, thinking back, I'm like, yeah, they are issues that need to be addressed, and they do slightly bring it down. So I'm going to give this as high of a 9 as I possibly can, because everything it does well, it does remarkably well.
That being said, I have a feeling that later arcs are going to fix that problem.
Probably. It's probably just an issue with this first section, but everything...
Because I heard that once they introduce Rao, who's the main villain of the manga,
yes,
then it just gets even better. Yeah. So like,
Rao slaps. Rao has a horse, dude, that he like materializes and also rides into battles. Kind of amazing.
That's dope. That's awesome.
But everything it does remarkably well. It's got the characters, it's got the story, it's got the cool fight scenes, it's got everything. But then it's also got the weird shit, like the weird pacing and the overpowered MC and the lack of stakes and all of this shit. It culminates into the most pure-blooded shonen experience you could possibly have, but that also comes with all of its... that also comes with all of the issues. So, very high 9.
Very high. Yeah, it's same for me. Very high 9.
Yep.
Spencer, what do you give it?
Same here. Very solid 9. A very, very solid 9.
Yeah.
Of all the shows that we've watched so far, I will say that this is the best shonen, the best action. But as Brunrit put in chat, I think as a whole, this is better than the first part of Lupin. However, for what we've seen, Lupin, the first part of Lupin, 100% beats this.
Lupin's my favorite we've watched so far.
Lupin is better than this, yes.
Easy. I loved Lupin.
I thought it genuinely outstanding. But yeah, a super solid 9. Like,
this is a very close second to Lupin in terms of our lineup.
Yeah, definitely.
Rip Go Shogun.
Yeah, Rip Go Shogun. Fuck that shit.
Rip Go Shogun. Next up, and by the time we move on to our next anime for the month of for the month of classics, with our final one is we're going back to 1978. We're going back to the 70s for this one. And it's the longest one we have. It's 42 episodes long, but it is an important piece of anime history because it's directed by the founder of Madhouse himself, Rintaro.
Oh, wait, really?
No, yeah, he is the co-founder of Madhouse. He's the founder of Madhouse, and he was also the director on the anime movie Metropolis, Galaxy Express 999. He worked on Astro Boy, and a bunch of other stuff, and the manga that it was based on was created by Leiji Matsumoto, the creator of Space Battleship Yamato, and a bunch of other stuff. And he was he is one of the most influential manga authors of all time. We're going to be covering Space Pirate Captain Harlock. Which is a show I've been meaning to watch for years because it is a space opera made in the 70s around the same time as Gundam and the Space Battleship Yamato. It was just made for me. But I'm very excited to talk. I'm very excited to finally sit down and watch it. So we'll be covering that next time on the podcast. And with that, I'm your host, Matt, aka Legion Rex. You can find me over on Twitter at Legion Rex and on YouTube at Legion Rex. With me, I also have my co-host Shane, aka the Bearded One. You can find him on Twitter at BGN, Bearded Gaming Network. You can also find him on YouTube at the Bearded Gaming Network, where he posts Let's Plays, podcasts, gameplay videos, and streams, and a bunch of other stuff. So go check him out. You can also find him on Twitch, and he streams every Tuesday and Thursday from noon to 2. You can find it, and he just did, as this episode goes up, he just did last week a weekly, like Monday to Friday stream for him because he wants to get affiliate.
Yeah, it was a special event, but we're gonna be by the time this episode comes out, we're back to normal schedule.
Yeah, this is back to normal schedule. So if anyone was just confused about that, that was why. And we also have our co-host Spencer. You can find him on Twitter at Barry Burton with two E's. With two E's. He posts a lot of cosplay pictures. I think we're pretty much good to go and wrap everything up here. And we'll see you next time for Space Pirate Captain Harlock.
Pirates in space.
In the year 3000. It's like thousands of years in the future. So it's the good.
You've heard of space. You've heard of pirates. You may have even heard of Harlock. But have you heard of captains?
All right, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you next time.
Thank you for listening to The Gap. If you like what you've seen, you can subscribe to the Gap Podcast YouTube channel to get the latest podcasts as they go live. Be sure to like and comment and let us know what you guys think of the show. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.